Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I am going to be talking about a very hot, booming and sensitive topic that I have been coming across all of my social media platforms, and there's a probability that most of you guys have definitely heard about this topic, antinatalism, or the child-free movement. And guys, when I first heard of this, I was just like, okay, interesting. So what is antinatalism? So antinatalism is the philosophical view that deems procreation to be morally wrong. It deems procreation to be unethical. They basically say that human beings should abstain from having children. And when I heard of this, I was like, wow, this is going to be a sensitive topic, considering that we are people's kids, and definitely you are somebody's kids, and some of us have kids. So what do you mean that having kids is morally wrong? And so I thought about it, and there's just nothing wrong with looking at the other side of the coin, having a different perspective, having an open mind, and seeing what else could be on the table. So let's talk about antinatalism. So my mind first goes to a trip back to a very famous book that everybody knows about, called the Bible, to the first chapter, where it says that one of God's commands to human beings is multiply and fill the earth. And when I think about this, I'm just like, why? Why should we multiply and fill the earth? What happens after we multiply and fill the earth? Like, what happens after the earth is full then? Like, does God show up, or like, do we transport to another system, or like, what happens? Like, that statement is incomplete. And so, and then I further read ahead, and I find that God then punishes the woman after she eats the apple, the forbidden fruit. God then punishes her and makes childbirth painful for her. And I'm just like, wait, hold on a second. What do you mean childbirth is then painful? You first and foremost, you told these guys to multiply and fill the earth, and then you go ahead and make childbirth painful. Make it make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And so I started to think about it, and I'm just like, no way. There is a probability, there's a slight probability that maybe God contradicted himself about multiplying and filling the earth and making like childbirth painful. And then I started thinking about it. Is it really a bad idea, this antinatalism, not having kids? You know, I mean, why should we reproduce? What is the purpose for reproduction, honestly, other than continuation of our species? And why are we even continuing our species in the first place? Why don't we want to end? It got me thinking such questions. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that most of us end up being slaves when we're born. I mean, 90% of the population are slaves, you guys. Most of us don't live that well. We are working for money. We have to survive for a living. Like, in order for you to live well in this earth that we come to, that we bring kids into, you have to work. You have to seriously work, and you have to work smart and hard in order for you to be rich, so that you and your kids could enjoy your existence. And I'm like, so why would I want to bring more slaves, wage slaves, into this place? And I'm like, interesting, because when you think about our life, and when you think about this whole place, and especially in perspectives to the religious perspective, where we have this God who creates this place and places these people in this place and tells them to multiply and fill this place, yeah, and then goes ahead and makes childbirth painful. I mean, you have to, like, if you are the creator, you think that this place would be peaceful, this place would be full of love, this place would be so amazing to live in, so that these people would just want to keep on multiplying. But it's the complete opposite. But people still want to multiply. It's full of suffering. I mean, think about it. Life is not that sweet to most of us, if you think about it. If you actually look at the way most people live, life is not that sweet unless you're very rich. uh Life can be ugly, can be ugly. I mean, seriously ugly for you. And life is full of suffering. And the funny thing is that you find the people in poverty, these are the people who even procreate the most. And I'm like, make it make sense. And people are telling me that it's because they have nothing else to do, so they just have sex. I mean, and they just keep on having more and more kids. And I'm like, make it make sense. you know like, and then I'm just like, it just doesn't make sense. So I keep on, when I heard of this antinatalism, I was like, maybe it's not such a bad idea, and maybe there's a probability, there's a possibility that it could be actually morally wrong to have kids, because everything is against us having kids, but we still want to have kids. I mean, think about it again. We literally don't even understand our own existence. I mean, I don't understand the reason for my own existence. We don't understand this place that we are in. We just come in here. We have a program that we are supposed to follow. We follow that program, we die. And then that's just it. We don't know anything else. Everything else that we hear about heaven and hell is fairy tale, hearsay. Nobody actually can confirm it. Nobody actually knows, the deeper stuff, like what is this place, like who is in charge of this place. Nobody has ever even seen God or the devil. And we're like, it's a whole, it's a whole existential crisis that everybody is undergoing, and nobody seems to want to figure it out, and nobody seems to actually want to confront it, because I feel like people act as if this is all so normal, as if this is just the way it's supposed to be. Just like, is it? Is it? And so I figure that because of this factor alone, it should make human beings stop and think, why are we procreating? Why are we doing this? Why are we continuing this cycle? Like, what is the purpose? Yes, maybe I have a lot of property, I have a lot of wealth. I want to pass it down to my kids because I don't want my wealth to just, go to other strangers. But, I'm continuing my generation, my line. But are those actually good reasons? Maybe for you they are, but are they actually good reasons for you to just want to keep on procreating, bringing kids to a place that you actually don't know what this whole place is about? You guys, I don't think people actually grasp grasp like the whole concept of us being here on earth. Like, I don't think people actually ask the right questions, or like, because when you actually think about it, it's a scary thought to even bring another living being here. And you think like, what am I doing to this kid? Like, and then when you are not even from a wealthy family, it even becomes even more harder, because what are you gonna leave this kid with? This kid is gonna come here and become a wage slave, work for other people so that this kid can live well. They're gonna come and endure this suffering, all these temptations, all these things that we as human beings go through, that we are not even sure why, as to why we go through them. And then we put other people here and we make them go through that same thing again without stopping the cycle. It just seems a little bit nuts to me. That it's just the norm. And so when I actually think of antinatalism, and when I read of antinatalism, I'm just like, these guys, they sort of have a point. Like, it's not actually such a bad idea if we all stopped for a minute having kids from procreating, and we just like asked some serious questions, figured out where we are in the first place. Then after figuring out where we are, even try and fix up the place, stop a little bit of poverty, stop a little bit of suffering, like find solutions to our problems. And then, like, understand our human experience, so that we can then bring forth other people. Then when we bring forth other people, we are teaching them, like, this is what it means to be a human being. This is where we are. This is the purpose of our creation. This is what we're supposed to be doing, so that you're not lost in this confusion, and in this chaos, in this, like, this, I feel like life is just there's no soup, like, I know there is an explanation. I am actually on my way figuring out that explanation, but at the moment I just feel like most people are just lost in the wheel, in the rat race of working and money and surviving, and surviving for a living. Imagine you're surviving for a living in a place that you naturally belong to. Does it ever make sense to you that you have to work to survive, and yet you are a natural citizen of Earth? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe everybody else thinks this is normal, but for me, I'm just like. So for me, when I heard of antinatalism, I just thought that we actually do, to some extent, we do our kids an injustice when we bring them here. I mean, think about it. We don't even ask these people for their permission. We just bring them because we want to bring them. We want to feel complete. We want to fulfill a biological need, a biological program that is innate within us that we don't actually understand, but we want to continue it. We just want to fulfill it. We have, most of us, when we think about it, we have kids for selfish reasons. We don't actually understand why we're doing it. Because why are you doing it? Yes, you want to continue your lineage, but why? Are you continuing generational trauma? What are you actually continuing? Honestly, like, it's just cycles of the same thing. You know that quote that the more things change, the more they stay the same. Yes. So so when you put all of these factors into consideration, the fact that, especially that most of us are wage slaves, like 90% of the human population, we are slaves, whether we would like to admit it or not. We are saddled up, man. It's just plain truth. So long as you're working for money, we're just like saddled up to this system that just demands us to keep on working, so that we can earn a living for a place that we're natural citizens to. We just become more wage slaves. We just keep on strengthening this system that we sort of don't understand, but we are sort of in cooperation with it. We keep on fueling it, if I may say, with more and more kids. And then, so more wage slaves. We are not fixing the problems that we are experiencing right now. There's more poverty. If you actually look into the statistics, poverty is actually going up, and suffering is more in this planet. People are just like, there's some sort of craziness around that there's some sort of chaos, that is that kind of floats around, but we're just all okay with it because I think we all think that is just the way things are supposed to be. And it's a never-ending cycle. We pass on our generational traumas to these kids without even thinking as to why we are doing it. Because because I've even had parents, like I've had, like here in Africa, I have had parents like call their kids the most meanest things: garbage, stupid, the most annoying things they could ever do their kids. They abuse their kids, you guys. And I sort of sit back and wonder, why are you doing this to your kid? Was it because it was done to you? Was it because you don't know of any other better way to do it? We just keep on passing the same issues that we experienced and actually making them worse because we're not healing from them. So we just a never-ending cycle. And I feel like antinatalism would be actually, like, if we stopped having babies for some time, it would actually be a very good solution for Earth for some time, actually. I mean, that is just my perspective. I mean, and then it's interesting. It's interesting if you look at the other side of the coin of why you should not actually procreate. And yeah, guys, so yeah, tell me what you think about antinatalism in the comments below. And as usual, guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It has been me, your amazing, intensive, a curious thinker, inquisitive, as usual, Melly Moon. Thank you, guys, and bye-bye.